Welcome everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me. This is New Music Finds episode number 18, and it's where I like to bring together all the new music that I've purchased over the last week, found at different places like record stores, purchased online from different retailers like Amazon, eBay, and more. For this particular week, I have 6 things to go through here, 2 new releases, 1 reissue, and 3 used gems that I found at my local record store. But before we dive into all that, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And by subscribing, as an added bonus, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this with New Music Finds episode number 18. And kicking things off as we always do, we start with new releases, and the first one up being Styx, Crash of the Crown, just came out on June 18th. This one here is their 17th studio album, and it was written pre-COVID, but the topics and everything that are on it certainly work in a post-COVID world. The lyrics definitely have many different interpretations to them. When you listen to them, you can easily hear things in it that could have been written during or post, pandemic times kind of a thing. So it's great that the lyrical interpretation on it goes both ways. It is the same lineup from The Mission in 2017. This one here definitely falls right in line with the sound from that album there, and it's everything that you'd expect from a Styx album. It's bombastic, it's over the top, it's both melodic and rocking, but most importantly, it sounds like classic Styx in my opinion. And while most of the songs on here are very short, in fact, there are no songs that are 4 minutes or longer. Their longest one on here is 3 minutes and 59 seconds. Each song is a fully developed idea. There's a lot of different styles and bits crammed into one song, mixed into it, and it was something that the band made a conscious decision on. They wanted to try and see how many different styles and ideas they could fit and mix into one song and yet make it feel like one complete piece. And they've done it, I think, exceptionally well. The album is just very complex and full of different ideas and things, and one song it can change on a dime, but to me it makes it really, really interesting, and I think it's totally worth checking out. Now, a lot of people have been asking me, what is my opinion between these two, right? So Dennis DeYoung, former frontman of Styx, released an album a week earlier, and that was on the 11th. Then we get Styx and Crash of the Crown a week later on the 18th. So for me, it's a little bit like comparing apples to oranges. The songs that Dennis would write for Styx are not anything like the songs that Tommy Shaw or James Young would write in Styx. So the sound of the band has always been quite varied. On the Dennis DeYoung 26 East Volume 2, and I will leave a link in the description below because I've done a review of this one as well. You get an album that sounds like Dennis DeYoung's songs. So certainly it sounds like Styx. It is fantastic. I really enjoy it as well. But on Crash of the Crown, of which I've done a full review too, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below, this one here you get an album worth of the remaining members that are within the band, and it is a more Tommy Shaw-centric album itself, but you definitely get those two styles. And so for me, it's a little hard to compare the two and pick which one is the better one. It's sort of like, well, which style do you want to hear, right? But I will say that I have been listening to the new Styx album more than the Dennis DeYoung album. It is really, really good. I keep thinking that I'm going to be, done with it and I'm going to want to move on, and I just keep pulling it out. So that in and of itself is edging it above the Dennis DeYoung, but we'll have to really wait and see and let both these albums sink in before I can really tell you which one I think is the better one. All right, moving on to the next new release, Rough Cutt 3 just came out on June 11th, but I got mine a week later on the 18th actually. Third studio album for them. This was a real surprise, came out of the blue the same day it was announced. You could actually buy it, and right now the only place that I know it is available, it's available from Demon Doll Records online. So if you want to go pick one up, you've got to do that. I have not seen it on Amazon or anywhere else. 35 years since their last album, Rough Cutt Wants You. You can see it up there at the top. That was 1986. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information out on this album here or how it came to be. Now, there are two current versions of the band that are out there. This one here features 3 original members. It's got Paul Shortino on vocals, Matt Thorne on bass, and Amir Durak on guitars. So you got those 3 guys in this lineup here, but the album itself in the credits does state that the other 2 members do play on this. So Chris Hagar on guitars and Dave Alford on drums do play on the album. Now the new guitarist that is in this particular lineup is Carlos Cavazo, former Quiet Riot guitarist. He's also played with Rat, so he's mixed in with this. And the sound of the album is outstanding in my opinion. It picks right up where they left off in the 80s. Definitely that same style from the first 2 albums. And in my opinion, solid album, totally worthy of the Rough Cut name. Hopefully a more defined story will come out about how this album came to be, whether it is old leftover demos from back in the day or whether or not they tried to do a reunion and the band splintered apart into 2 different groups. Either way, this album is outstanding. It does have all 5 original guys playing on it, and then you do get new guitarist Carlos Cavazo, formerly of Quiet Riot, playing on it. So interesting stuff there. I do recommend it. All right, there was one new reissue that I picked up, and it's John Anderson, The More You Know. This one here is from 1998. Of course, he's the former Yes frontman, and this was his 13th solo album at the time. Interestingly, though, it would be 13 long years before he put out another album after this one, which was Survival and Other Stories in 2011. So no bonus tracks or anything like that on this. There is a booklet in here. But no write-up or anything of that nature. But the album's been out of print for a long time, and it was one album that I did not have, so very glad to be able to at least get it, and the sound quality is very good on it. So definitely worth checking out if you don't already own that album and are a Yes fan like me. And then from my local record store, I found 3 really great used gems. One of the things that has been great about going and shopping at used record stores, yes, it's getting harder and harder to find CDs and things of that nature, but people are selling off their collections, and there's some really great hidden gems in these things. And since not a lot of people are buying CDs, if you're a music collector like myself and you peruse the stores, you can find some really great stuff like this. Black Crowes, High as the Moon from 1993. It is a CD single EP kind of a thing, and it was recorded at Sam Houston Coliseum in Houston, Texas, featuring 4 live tracks on it: Remedy, Jealous Again, Thorn in My Pride, and Sting Me. And it was a bonus disc apparently for the Southern Harmony Musical Companion album, both if you were buying it in the UK or in Japan. How a copy made it over here, I don't know, but I am glad to see it. It was a surprise to me, something I wasn't really aware of until I saw it. But I like things like this. And so it's out of print, hard to come by now, but I was able to pick it up at my used record store. Then I found another one that is an out-of-print album, Eddie Money, Unplug It In from 1992. It's a live acoustic EP which features 7 tracks on it. It's got some really nice alternate versions of the regular electric versions of these songs that you're used to, but now you're hearing them acoustically. And so again, as I mentioned, that EP is out of print, which brings us to the final score, from the used record store that I found. It's a pretty cool one here. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Live in Hyde Park from 2004. This one here, double disc, and it was the band's first live album released, at least at the time, recorded over 3 different nights, and it was on the band's Roll on the Red tour. So what's I found interesting about this when I started to go through it is that it actually only covers 3 of their studio albums that are represented in terms of songs that were selected and performed at this: Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Californication, and By the Way. It does have one track that is performed from the greatest hits, the song Fortune Faded. That was a single released off the greatest hits. But as opposed to being, something that covers their whole catalog, they had focused just on those 3 studio albums. But what I like about this, and the reason I chose to pick it up, is that it actually has 2 songs exclusive to this live release here: Leverage of Space and Rolling Sly Stone. So you do get 2 songs that are not available on any studio albums or anything of that nature, so you can get them here. This album itself is out of print, so a lot of cool stuff. As I said, you can still get some really great finds from your local record stores and whatnot. And there you go. That is New Music Finds number 18. Some new releases, reissues, and used gems. Do remember to check back every Wednesday for brand new episodes of New Music Finds. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if you did, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you're still watching, hopefully you really enjoyed this video. Maybe please share it out on social media, help get the word out that way. I would also appreciate that. All right, take care everyone, have a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.